The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's Nikki Glaser Podcast. Fun show for you today. We have, as always, Brian and Noah. Hey, guys.
Hi. Hello.
And then via Zoom, who you know and hasn't been on the show for about 3 weeks, but favorite of the show, Sean O'Connor.
Hi. Excited to be here over Zoom. My favorite way to perform.
It's the worst.
Did you guys do any shows in COVID over Zoom? What did you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think I initially was like, yes, the world shut down. Like, everyone's going to be as bad at stand-up as I am because we're all not doing shows. And then shows started popping up and I was seeing footage of people doing them. So I said yes to one. And then it just felt so unlike a stand-up show that I was like, oh, people aren't getting better from doing these. I can just not do these. That's kind of how it felt. Yeah. Did you guys do some?
I played Quiplash on for an audience with we would have guests on, and it was very fun, but it was not stand-up. I mean, you could just do stand-up in your mirror and it would be the same thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing that. I think it would be good sometimes to practice stand-up more. I think we convince ourselves, you have to do it in front of an audience or it doesn't count. I mean, yeah, you don't know if something's funny or not doing it to the mirror, but I think it would help to practice to nobody.
When I write new jokes, I just pace around my living room, talking to myself, and that's kind of just performing it. It's just you can kind of sense when something has at least the cadence of a bit, and then it helps.
Yeah.
Sitting down and just writing a stand-up bit is nearly impossible, I think. You gotta walk around and talk it out.
I've tried to do that. I've tried to I'm going to sit down on my computer and write stand-up, but it just feels like you're writing a memoir that sucks.
Oh my God, it so does. That's what I did yesterday. I went and wrote a memoir, and it did feel like a chapter. I was like, this could just be a chapter of a book I'm writing, and it's it's not the same. You're right. But it did feel like I accomplished something just by doing it. I had a pretty productive yesterday. Yesterday it didn't work out, but I realized the only reason I really need to work out is so that I can do something that feels really hard and get past it, and then I have self-esteem for the rest of the day because I did something that I wanted to quit, but I went past it. So as long as I do anything that is something I don't want to do and persevere, I could have that euphoric I worked out feeling the whole day. I don't need to always do a workout class. I think the workout class is just the easiest way to get that feeling done. But yesterday I just went to Starbucks and forced myself to write out this story that I've been, that I actually told on the podcast, and then someone wrote to me and was like, you should make that a stand-up bit. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. So I just wrote that out yesterday, and I felt so accomplished after doing it. I was like, I don't need to go hold a plank now. That was the equivalent for my brain. So you just need to do one thing a day that you hate it so much. And that book that I'm reading about breaking through blocks or what, I forget what it's called. That just sounds like, I think
that's the name, right?
That's
Breaking
Neil Brennan's
blocks.
podcast, I think.
I think that's the new Mario Party name.
Yeah. But it's just, it's telling me that when you, even, and we all know this, even just the little, every single thing needs to start with someone typing one word. Every movie you've watched was a guy sitting down and it was one word at one point. It was int, period.
Mm-hmm.
Living room, dash. Everything started with one step. And I think that it's the most, this is unprofound thing I've ever said in my life. But of course, it's just a nice reminder of I can't look at oh my God, I've got to write 20 more new minutes of stand-up. It's why don't you write 20 seconds? Try that. Yeah. And that will then lead to the next. Everything has to be about it's all or nothing for me. So if I can't write 20 new minutes in one sitting, I just don't even want to do it.
Mm-hmm. The difference between that and working out though is you can't fuck up working out. If you worked out at all, even if it was bad, you're always going in the positive direction. You could sit there and try to write for 2 hours and get nothing done and then feel shitty. But you can't go to the gym for 2 hours.
No, I disagree. I think I think it literally is the exact same. Because even if you're writing complete trash and it's just words that you'll never use, you're doing the artist's way, which is in the artist's way, she says to wake up every morning and write 3 pages of just nonsense. Like, just get the dirt out of your brain. Like, get it out. Release anything that's on, like, anything you want to say. It doesn't have to be and that is sometimes when I go to a class, my hips aren't up. I'm not going all the way down on my squat. Like, it's trash. It is like, it feels like I accomplished, I almost went backwards in terms of what I'm doing.
That's so wild because I feel the exact opposite. I feel like when I write, if I write trash, I feel like I didn't get my hips up during the plank class.
No,
but it's the same. It is the same thing. But you did something. Getting your hips, like doing it, holding a plank at all without your hips up is still something. You're like, you're dusting off the shelf in order to then take the books off and rearrange it. Like you're not. You at least you dusted something off. You got trash out that needed to get out for that good idea to come through ultimately. Do you agree, Sean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like with writing especially, like everything can be fixed. Like even if you did something that was completely shitty and you did it for like 2 hours and you hate it when you reread it, you can fix anything. Like the delete button exists for a reason, and I love rewriting. It's my favorite thing in the world.
But you have to go back and read the thing that you wrote. Then see, that's the problem for me. I want to just send you guys this story and go like, what do you think? And then like, let's talk. Like, I don't want to look at it again. I want to just. I'm not good at reviewing ever anything at all.
You want to be an old Irish woman who throws it into the ocean.
Yeah,
and lets
burn
it go
and
away.
journ and burn. Like that's what my friend Kirsten used to do. She's journal and then she burns it.
Journal
and so
and
it's like yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It just
what I
good.
would love I would love AI to be in my pocket. And to just be recording every single thing I said, especially when I'm hanging with my friends and I'm feeling real comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to take note of everything I ever said in my life and take note of the times when it's like, that could be a bit. Here's what it was written out.
You just need friends to tell you to fucking write shit down.
Nobody tells me to write shit down.
That's the problem. We all need to do that more for each other. Like, Sean, I think I've done it to you a bunch on the road where I'm like, no. I go like, write that down, and then we both laugh like, we're not really actually gonna. And I go, no, literally, take out your phone right now. I want to watch you write it down because it feels so stupid to just completely derail a conversation where you're like just comfortable and relaxed, like you were saying, and then like get out your phone and like jot it down. But you got to do it, and you got to have friends that are going to force you to do it in the same way. Like even if you're listening and you're not a writer or something, like in the same way that like if your friend looks cute, take a fucking picture of them. Take a picture of your friend. They need it for their socials. They need it for their online profile, especially if they're a single guy. Take pictures of your single guy friends when they look handsome. If you have any kind of photography skill whatsoever, they desperately need it. It will help them so much. Men don't have pictures of themselves. So we all need like to encourage each other like, hey, wait, no, I'm serious. Like you need to do that. You should make that into something, you know, because it just takes a little push. I mean, none of us would be doing what we're doing today, I think, if it was just all reliant on our own selves to be like, I think I'm good at this. I should do this. Like, didn't it take someone going like, yeah, you're like just a little nudge?
That's why I'm saying it can be AI. All we need is an AI assistant to do it. It doesn't need to be a real person.
We need to just support our friends more. I feel like, I mean, I'm like watching like, I completely am done with Twitter. I'm never going back on it.
Hell yeah.
Because it's way
too... good. Whoa.
It sucks so much. I hate it. But everyone is so negative about every little thing. And I feel like through reading that this weekend, I was just like, I need to be more supportive of all of my friends. Like, if they have like a good idea, I'm going to push them. I'm not going to take a picture of them if they're single. That's a weird thing for me to introduce to my friend group.
Yeah, okay. But I think it would help them, honestly. Like, if you're like, you look cool, man. I know you probably can't do that. I can't expect you to do that. I mean, it would be great if you did, because then your friend could find love and like happiness in this world, but that's okay.
Just I want them to. It just it's like what I've known most of the people I've known for like more than 15 years, and it's
it would be a drastic shift for you.
It would make it seem like I just got word that I'm getting canceled, and now I'm trying to show that I was like really
that these people are friends with you. Yeah, you're trying to get alibis. That's a really good point.
I'm glad you're getting off Twitter, because I'm starting to feel like social media is starting to die. I feel like for example, Nikki, you have 2 million followers on Instagram right now, 2M. Huge accomplishment,
2M,
obviously.
huge. Brian predicted it back in May. We
Yeah.
I
finally
predicted
made
back
it.
in May. I did this.
Yep.
If you did the same exact things, like the same exact series of events occurred in 2014, you would have 10M right now.
Really?
Without a doubt. Yes, without a doubt. Something's
Okay.
going on where it's just like people aren't following anymore. I think it's probably because of the algorithm where you just get served things that you want. Like there'll be
You don't really need to follow anymore.
you don't need to follow
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Right.
And-
Although I do, because I make it, you know, that thing you can check where sometimes you're like, why am I getting this video? And you press on the little 3 dots and it goes, for 30 days, only give me things I'm following. I mean, it doesn't say that, but it's some version of that.
Yeah.
I click on that and I'm in that right now where I'm not getting served any suggestions. I got to go to
That's
my
nice.
explore page if I want it. And that makes me go, okay, I need to unfollow the things I'm following that I don't like and I need to follow stuff I do want. So it should be about curating it to what you like. But you're right. Like if you're just going off of what they give you, they already know you. They know what you want. You don't need to follow anyone anymore.
Here's what happened. This is a
God.
tragedy beyond comprehension. When social media began, it's beyond comprehension.
Well,
When
try
s-
to make us comprehend it.
When
I don't even know
social-
why you're attempting this if it's beyond.
I mean, that's just what I try. When social media began, you would friend people and they would friend you back. It was a mutual agreement.
It was Friendster, right?
It was.
Well, yeah, that and Facebook. It was, hey, I'm in your social circle. Let's be friends. There wasn't followers. And then Twitter came along and created followers. But still, there was a lot of follow back. It all came to an end when social media became less about being social and more about being a creator and being followed. And then once you were a creator and being followed, then it was all about what can I make? And it took away the social aspect. And now what's happening that we have, because we have AI, Mark Zuckerberg just went and had this big conference or whatever he was doing, where he announced that Instagram and Facebook is going to start generating more and more AI creators that create content that's specifically catered towards people so that people aren't following people anymore. They're just following AI.
Why would you tell us that you're going to do that? Who wants that? Who is looking? Who wants
Zuckerberg
AI?
wants that because he doesn't know what. So he has no social.
But
what's
what?
the-
But he knows what
intelligence.
people want. They do their focus groups. They know what people want more than anything. That's
Well, after
why
the
they're so
focus
popular.
groups.
So why would they think people? Do people want AI content?
I think people will want it. What are you gonna say, Sean?
Yeah, they're begging for people to want it, but I don't think they want it. What is happening right now are there's these like 4 companies who are going on a tour of every company in Silicon Valley, telling them about how this is the next big thing. And like at this point, Mark Zuckerberg and like they're all kind of so detached from reality that they're just believing the salesman that is selling it. And I do think I'm hoping this all blows up in their face. I really think everyone needs to take a gigantic L.
I don't mind AI when it's like makes Trump like making out with Putin or something, you know, like kind of like, you know, like I don't mind clear AI things that's intriguing to me. I also, oh my God, I loved the SNL sketch this week about the AI podcasts,
Yeah,
which was
that was
so
good.
on point and so good. If you've heard any of these AI podcasts, which I did hear mine, Spotify this year, Spotify Wrapped did a customized podcast for you based on your listening habits. That was a girl and a guy talking about, man, Nikki, what a year it's been for you. Well, it seems like in May you really started listening to a lot of pop punk girl like Pilates princess beats. And then they go and they have like the I don't know about that. Wow. Well, this song really resonated. It was, and Chris and I listened to it and we were like, whoa, it's uncanny, you know, like it sounds like 2 people having a conversation, but there's something a little off about it.
Suspicious. Sus.
It always feels like, I don't know if you've ever watched like a foreign language thing with the English like dub.
Overdubbed? Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
It
You're right.
always feels that way where like they're taking away the emotion from the scene. So you think every Japanese actor is just like super serious at every moment of the movie.
Wait, they're not?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just found out that they're not.
But they really parodied that perfectly, I thought, on SNL. And I was like, I wonder if people haven't heard these like fake podcasts, if they would think this is funny. But I thought that it was Timothée and Bowen
Wait, did they call
doing
him
the
Timothée
podcast
again?
No, but I am. I just like it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so good.
That was probably the best sketch of the night, I think.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's funny because I
didn't
going
see the last
through-
20 minutes, so if there's a better one at the end, I didn't see
there was
it.
a lot of bangers. It was a good episode.
I
felt
loved
like-
it.
I thought Timothy really delivered. I'm like you, Brian. I will die. For
He's
Timothy
so
Chalamet.
amazing. He's such a great guy, and he's so charming.
I loved his musical performances. I
It was
thought.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, his second one, especially, where it was just like him talking about three men walking down the street, stepping over the cracks in the sidewalk, and then they walk through a dust bowl, and then they see a girl with an umbrella. Like his he was like, it's just he was acting. But he was also. I want an album from him. I was totally sold on it. He did a really good job. I loved the podcast, the one where they were doing men are scared to go to the doctor now, and they're getting all their medical information from podcasts. So now it's like they trick men into like thinking they're on a podcast just to go see a doctor.
Yes.
It was
It's so funny.
good.
It's called Medcast. I really recommend you watch it.
No, that was the best one. But there's another one about podcasts that I'm not thinking of.
No, it was
the
Bowen
AI
and
Yeah.
Timotei, and they were in an AI.
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking
Okay.
of Medcast.
Medcast was hilarious.
Yeah, that was my favorite
It was
sketch
so
of the night.
good, so good.
So
And then-
it was the
yeah.
whole SNL evening was kind of like Golden Globes coded. Like there was that one joke about Amelia Perez, and then there
yeah.
was Adam Sandler introduced Timothy. So
That was so exciting when I
What's
go,
up with
babe,
that?
babe, because Chris was like on his computer, and I'm like, because it was like I just saw Adam standing there. I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. He's introducing
just
Timothy
because they're
Chalamet.
buds.
I think so. I think I had heard a rumor that Timothy was like at his daughter's bar mitzvah. Maybe that was another celebrity, but I think they were already buds. I think they already were aware of each other. There's no way that Timothy wasn't already an Adam Sandler fan, and I can't
Well, of
imagine.
course. He
their
loves comedy.
precedent.
Why was
But-
Sandler there at all?
He's probably in town, and someone at SNL was like, "Who? I don't know. Maybe Timothy asked. I have no idea. I guess I could ask Emil."
And then he said all he did that night was introduce.
Yeah, I think he just hangs out at SNL when he's probably in town and goes to the taping, especially if he knows the host. And then I
see.
think they were probably like, everyone was like, Nikki Glaser made this happen. I think it would have happened regardless of my thing, but it was still very cool.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was super cool. Like, yeah, that always happens when it's the dual performer. They always have like a cameo to introduce them. Like Julia Fox introduced Charlie XCX.
Charlie XCX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Because the host isn't there to introduce the musical guest, so they need a cameo
Exactly.
host. I see.
Yeah.
It was also cool
Yeah.
they had Lin-Manuel as a cameo.
And he had
Good
just
cameo.
to stand and be frozen for like 4 minutes. And then they kept calling it out. That was so funny.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with SNL right now. Like, I love this season. I love watching it. Andrew Dismukes. I always feel like I'm saying his name wrong. I loved his weekend update where he has he's doing a stand-up act, and he's like, I've incorporated a puppet into it that plays my dad, and the dad is like doing dad jokes, and then it gets really somber, and the dad just starts telling Andrew how proud he is of him, and like saying all the things that like a male comedian would want to hear from their father. And then he like turns it on Colin Jost, and he's being proud of Colin, and it's so layered and vulnerable and strange, and it was just I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of there were like a couple things this weekend that I was like, whoa, there was a lot of vulnerability behind that was like almost masquerading as like comedy, but it was almost it was like even like the Oedipal arrangements commercial was like wild.
Wow, yeah, that was very
It
sexually
was-
charged.
It was so wild to the point where like we watch SNL with Nolan on like Sunday morning, and I was like, yikes! Like,
Yeah.
But
no.
luckily, like, yeah, my wife was jerking him off. Like,
so they got it. They were distracted living out the sketch. Okay, we got to go to break, and we'll talk more after this. So, what do you guys, any
Let me show
highlights
you
from this
this.
weekend?
Let me show you this real quick.
Show me.
Okay, so look at this video look at this video. Can you see it in my...
Yeah, it's an AI woman, I'm guessing,
Yeah, so
who is
this
standing with a
isn't-
selfie. She's
this
not
is-
real.
She's not real, but I mean, doesn't she look real?
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen this.
Okay, but like the thing about it is that in all the comments, everybody...
It's like a hot girl just kind of posing, taking a selfie, you guys.
Yeah, but in all the comments, everyone is like acting like she is real. Like there's tons, and I go and I investigate the accounts of the people who are commenting on this, being like, "You're so beautiful," and they seem like real people. They're mostly over 40 or older,
And they
but-
have pictures of like off-road vehicles in like a ditch.
They have pictures of them. Well,
like they're just all they have. Like you go to their main page and it's just lots of camo.
I'm going to be honest with you. Most of them are pictures of them with their wife and kid.
What?
And they're going, "What's up, babe? You're so beautiful," to these AI girls.
No way.
Yes, yes. I did a full-fledged journalistic investigation of the commenters on these AI influencers.
Do they think comments aren't like public? Or something? I don't even understand why you would do that if you had a wife and that you were publicly open with on your. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
And do they not know that the girl is AI? Is it not saying the thing?
I don't think they know. And also 237,000 followers for this AI bot.
I just don't think the world is smart enough for social media. Like, I just don't, like, my little brother follows every hot celebrity and likes their things as if they're going to, like, suck his dick because he threw a like at, like, Sydney Sweeney or Brianna Chicken Fry.
It's embarrassing when you see, like, your
fry.
male friends liking posts of hot girls that they don't know.
Yeah.
It's really embarrassing when you see,
that.
like... I've never seen your guys' names underneath stuff that's embarrassing. I mean, I've
don't
definitely
follow Rihanna.
No, you've got to support Rihanna. You got to throw Rihanna a like. Like liking is one thing, but I do picture you double tapping it with one hand and your dick's in the other. Like I do picture just your mouth is slightly agape, and I know what you look like when you're double tapping it as you're either shitting or touching yourself. But it is. It's mindless, but I feel like most of that bot's followers are probably bots. It's like bot on bot action.
Everybody says, and that's why because that's what Allie was saying. She's like, but it's just other bots following these accounts. And then I dug in. I want to like DM these people because you can't tell anymore because they might be AI just answering back to what you're saying. But I don't think they're bots. I don't think they're bots. I think they are actual people who just think that it's real or don't care.
I think people are very lonely too. Like I was thinking if I was a lonely person that didn't have much going on and there was a way to simulate someone being my boyfriend and texting me, I'd fucking do it, you guys. I would do it. And if I heard that people were like convinced that it's their boyfriend, I wouldn't go, what idiots. I'd be like, I want to be convinced that's my boyfriend. I want to feel the feelings. Like if I can manufacture that feeling, I drink to feel happy. I smoke weed to feel happy. I'll fucking do it. Yeah, with the girl, the Brad Pitt.
Yeah, the Brad Pitt AI.
Sure.
I mean, she sent the worst photoshops too.
That wasn't even AI.
I think this woman has macular degeneration. She should get her eyes fixed if she thought that those were real. That just makes me concerned that people that don't have good eyesight are more susceptible.
Or she's delusional. I mean, she
sent him like $30,000. Like.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt needed medical.
Dude, it's wild.
Well, that's the other thing is it's not just that they're following them and that they're convinced that they're real.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say, but
I know. Here's what I'll say is that I know there are men and women out there who are talking to someone that they think is me. And they're having a personal, private conversation that they think I sought them out because they were in a fan group that I thought, you're a real good fan. And they are probably sending money to a person they think is me because my manager has all my money. Yes, I have lots of money, but I just don't have access to it right now because my manager's his house burned down and the phone that he sends me money on was in the house. Like some lie because I know someone that is a normal, intelligent person who thinks they're in a relationship online with a celebrity. That is not a celebrity that would ever seek, is such a huge celebrity. They would never seek out a relationship with someone they found in a Facebook fan group. But this is like, this happens. And it's definitely, gear. I think these people also do know it's not real, but they just let themselves kind of let go and believe it because what else they got, it's kind of one of those things. But I think that's why I had to crack down on not doing meet and greets anymore. Just the idea of someone coming up to me and they have had tons of sex with me in cyber sex world with whoever's playing me. Like there's someone that's sending foot pics to someone and jerking them off virtually as me without question. I would put all of my money on it that that's happening because if you go to Matt Rife's Instagram, there are people in his comments constantly going like, my friend thinks she's talking to you. My best friend is in love with you and is coming to see you. Like you're sending her nudes and stuff. Like there's so many Matt Rife ones. I mean, these people, but there's no amount of posting, hey, I will never reach out to you. That's not me. There's no amount of posting that, even putting it in your bio, that will make people convinced that it's not you.
Because they want to hear it. They want to believe. That's just, if you want to believe it, you'll believe it.
I can't be meeting people that think that they've had a relationship with me. It's too strange.
Too dangerous.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And I remember what I was going to say. The thing, if you believe that the person's real and you're interacting with them, these guys that are interacting with these AI influencer girls, they don't realize that the person that is creating this AI girl is probably some weird guy. So like you're jerking off to like the creation of some weird guy who's making these
Aren't we
AI
all the creation
girls.
of some weird guy?
No, I mean, but you're 100% right, Brian. And I think that's why I'm not susceptible to it, is because when I got AOL in 1995, me and my friends would constantly pretend to be lesbians and cyber with other boys pretending to be lesbians.
That's all it was. It was so exciting. Age, sex, location, talking about penises.
Right, ASL. I remember that.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Man,
I mean,
ASL.
Sean, you though, you won't eat white sauces because it reminds you of semen. Like, so you're so, not only will you not take pictures of your male friends or converse with a bot that might be made by a man, you are so terrified of you do not like white sauces. You don't like an Alfredo. You won't do a cheese dip. You won't like a white cheese dip.
No,
you won't do
ranch.
What about milk?
Ranch.
I don't like milk.
We won't drink a glass of milk.
I won't drink a glass of milk.
A tahini? You've never had a falafel and tahini?
No.
Not even tahini?
No.
What about toothpaste?
Yeah, what do you do with that? You got to go Crest Blue?
Yeah,
you have to have a stripe through it?
We have like Opera Fresh. Yeah,
Shut up! Really? Is this real?
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my God. And I'm guessing you don't like use lotions.
No,
Men
not
don't really
really
even need lotions.
I feel like at this point I need them, and I'm going to start doing them, I think.
It's so funny. Men start doing like, I think I need an under eye cream around 40 is when, and women start around 17 months. It's crazy. We start so young. Like Chris for the first time was like, I think like my under eyes might need, like, what would I do? And I'm like, there's literally 6 million products that could address that.
I love a good under eye cream. I love when it tingles. What's that?
I don't know.
I mean, I
know what?
I used to have this under eye cream that you put on the bags of your eyes and it tingled, and I don't think I don't think it's probably good for you.
Are you putting it in your eye or just under? Because
you put it under your eye to make your bags go away, and it didn't make my bags. No,
exactly. It doesn't. Nothing makes bags go away except surgery. Can we just all get on board with that, girls? Nothing, and maybe lymphatic drainage, but no one wants to rub your face for 30 minutes in the morning. I've saved a million videos teaching me how to do it. You rub behind your ears first to release the drains, and then you do a sweeping gua sha motion. It does work if you want to depuff your face, but it takes way too long. There's no cream that will depuff your eyes. They just is the way they is.
They is the way they is.
Oh, last night I like had a I like almost started I was like had a I was just moody, I guess. I don't know. I had just eaten a whole bag of Skinny Pop by myself, and like that's not a huge deal, but it's not great. Like, I half a bag is usually what I like to do per sitting. It's like I think 2.5, 3 servings. And then I do polish off the bag the next sitting. But one sitting for one bag, it's not great. I didn't feel good. I just felt disgusting. And I was like, crumpled it up and like told Chris like, well, I'm just going to be fat tomorrow. And like, just was like kind of to taunt him to say that I'm not, but he didn't like take the bait. And then I like kind of, and we were also watching Celebrity Jeopardy. And I think that's why I ate the whole bag, because I was imagining being on Celebrity Jeopardy, because I do want to do it at some point, and I was playing along, and Chris was getting them all so much faster than me, and I was also like, I gotta say what is, who is, when, like I have to do the right way because I need to start practicing, right?
Yes.
So he's beating me to it because he's not
Yeah.
even doing those things, but he's also beating me to it anyway, and so I'm like, I'm so dumb. And then a question came up that was, essentially the question was, what is the most populous city in Brazil? And what would you guys have said?
Brasilia.
Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that's a great guess, Sean. It's not right. Brian, what would you guess?
I said Brasilia.
I don't know what that city is. Never even heard of it in my life.
That's the capital, isn't it?
It's Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo. Is it Sao Paulo? Sao Paulo. Okay. I would
Brasilia
never
is the
have known that.
capital of Brazil.
Well, that's amazing. I was saying I've never even heard of that to insult me, not you. By the way,
I'm not insulted.
I knew you knew what you were talking about. I said Buenos Aires because I'm an idiot and I just figured that's in Brazil. I just picked a
South American city
in South America.
Yeah.
And man, I just was like, what if I said that on TV? And Chris was like, okay. And I go like, that is so dumb. Like, that's Argentina, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can't be on the show. Like, what if I say something so dumb? You know, where you're just like, and that's not like, and then all I wanted him to say, are you ever trying to get an answer out of your significant other that's going to make you feel better, but they just like won't give it to you? All I really wanted him to say was like, that's not that dumb, Nikki. Like, it's a South American city. Like, it's, it's, if you haven't been there or whatever, it's fine. But instead he was just like, that question's not going to come up.
Oh my God.
and he's like, people won't remember. Seth Green lost. He was just out. As long as you're having fun, it's going to be great. I'm like, this is not what I want to hear. So I am in bed, dumb. Just like, I'm just so stupid. I can't go on that show and I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of everyone. And he's like, you haven't even been asked. And I'm like pouting in bed. Do you ever have those moments where you just become overly, I guess you guys aren't women, so you probably don't, but you're going to start getting more estrogen. So you might start like where you get emotional about a thing that's not even happening. And like, I have this, and then I was actually talking to Taylor at lunch the other day about fears, and her fear, because I forget what Enneagram she is, but she has a fear of being stupid, of someone like seeing that she's not as intelligent as she is. Mm-hmm. And Chris's fear is being incompetent and not being able to help, like breaking his legs or something, and like not being able to be the person that can get you something and help. And I was talking to Taylor about my fear, and I'm like, my fear is like not reaching my potential is my fear because I'm a 3, but I don't really fear being stupid. So I even said this at lunch on Friday. I was like, I don't care if people know I'm not intelligent. So then why did I freak out about this Buenos Aires thing? I don't even know. So maybe my fear is being unintelligent.
Well, if you're basing it off of the Enneagram, then it's because you're being on Celebrity Jeopardy in and of itself is a performance. And if you get an answer wrong, you are performing poorly.
And the competitive aspect.
Yeah. You're not reaching your potential of winning Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, and I do. Yes. Okay, that's a good point. But I do feel like there are certain things where if you don't know them, people just go, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, and then they question everything about you. Like, you didn't know that. Like, right. I have that kind of idea in my head where it's like
you didn't know eggs came from hens. You thought they came from chickens.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a hen is a type of chicken, so it's still technically true.
Yeah, I think in my way, I'm like, I think I'm technically right that it is a chicken, but also I do feel very stupid right now.
Yeah. I feel like, but here's what Chris said to me. He was like, this was the other thing that I was like, that's not what I want to hear either. He goes, listen, going on Celebrity Jeopardy, it's incredibly brave. Most celebrities don't do it because they don't want to look stupid. They're so obsessed with their image and accidentally saying Buenos Aires instead of Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo?
Yeah,
Paulo.
Sao Paulo.
Thank you. That they fear looking dumb. Like, I know that one of the smartest people I think that exists wouldn't be a lifeline for me when I did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity. Wouldn't even be a lifeline that I call, right? Because he said that he prides himself so much on that it would be too embarrassing. Like, he's been asked to do every single like smart person celebrity thing, and he will do none of them because it is too terrifying. I'll tell you guys who later, but it's literally one of the smartest people that's probably ever existed in our industry, and he won't do anything. It's the same way that Anya won't sing karaoke. Even though she's the best singer in the room, she doesn't want to do the thing on a stage that could potentially, in front of novices, make her look just like everyone else. I maybe that's why. I don't know.
On top of that, like honestly, whenever I've been at karaoke and somebody really fucking goes for it and like crushes it, like, and they clearly are a professional singer, everyone I'm with is kind of like, oh, so they just come here to feel better about themselves? Like,
yeah, you do ride that line of like being a show off because you are a professional. But I'm sorry. If you're a professional, get up there and be I want to see a good performance. We've heard crap all night. Like, I will never begrudge someone that, but I think that people do fear, like, if you're getting up there for every other song, yeah, but if you're going against your will, like, I guess, and then you nail it, come on, honey. You got to show off your skills. I'm always like, God, if I had Anya's voice, I would be doing karaoke every fucking night just for myself, you know, like just to hear what I'm capable of. It's wild to me that Noah sits there and like knows how to play guitar really, really well and just like doesn't. Like it's crazy to me when people have like a talent that they work so hard to get and then they just let it, they don't do
You do it for you. That's because you're a 3. You don't get it. You just do it for you. It's like meditative and calming, and you get the self-satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. But
even for yourself. But I guess you're right. Like, I was practicing guitar yesterday and I was just really struggling with it because I'm like, I can't go live because someone will screen record it. It'll end up on something. It's too embarrassing. So I can't go live anymore. So there's my old way of practicing with just like besties watching is just done. And then I was like, this sucks. What am I doing this for? The dogs don't give a shit. And then I heard Chris like kind of like he was cleaning the apartment and I was just in my room with the door shut. And I was like, I'm just going to perform for Chris. He doesn't even know it, but he's just going to my goal is to have him go like, wow, she's getting better. And I like imagined him in the next room being like, wait, Nikki's actually really improving at this.
Yeah.
And like, that's the only way I got through the practice session. If he wouldn't have been there, I would have just put down my guitar and taken a nap. Are you the same way, Sean? You're 3. You have to like do stuff in front of people.
Always. Like, honestly, me being alone is just not working.
You're like, never alone, though, right? You wake up your son sometimes just to have an audience.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I need the reaction. I need his reaction. Like, I need a reaction. Like, my therapist told me that I equate positive validation and negative validation the same exact way. And I have had to overcome the negative validation part because I would be like, I would love to like shit on people because I was getting the same feeling as I was doing something good.
Wait, so you gossiping or like being mean or like talking shit about people gives you the same feeling as performing? Because it's connective. It's like it makes people go, yeah, and interested in what you're going to say next. You have some great gossip. Like it's currency for connection.
Yeah, and like she correctly identified the fact that I will needle my mom to get her to freak out, and that is just as good as a laugh.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I do relate to that of like if just needing, I don't know, not with my family as much, but definitely, and not, I don't know. That's why I sent you both. I think separately. The Sam Harris podcast that was the most recent one.
Yes.
I think it's the second most recent.
I'm imagining you sent it to Sean and I both for different reasons.
You know, let me think about that for a second because it was really just about it was pretty much a pitch for his meditation app, which he makes money off of, but he's really just doing it for the betterment of the world. I do believe that. And so it was a podcast about why it's important to meditate, especially in this time, kind of given what's going on and the fires and politics and everything. And then then he played a kind of meditation, kind of just talk that I thought was like really interesting and just reminded me of why I need to start meditating again. And I thought, oh, you know what? Like I think Brian, I pitched it to you because I feel like it's the one modality I haven't heard you try yet.
Like meditating?
Yeah, like in terms of like all of your kind of psychosomatic stuff. I'm sure you have, but I hadn't heard you try a meditation practice.
I've tried it, but not with like the exclusive goal of solving my problems. I used to do it just like because I thought it was supposed to be good for you.
Yeah. Well, I think
I
it
did
could
that
actually
other-
solve your problem.
Isn't there another Harris? Dan Harris?
Dan Harris. He's like the 15% happier or
Yeah,
something.
so
10%
I read
happier.
15% happier back, I don't know if it was 10 years ago. And I used his app and I started doing that back in the day. And then Sam Harris came along and confused the hell out of me. And then I got so upset that I stopped meditating altogether.
Yeah, this is why you need to meditate. Like, you have to separate the Harrises.
Yeah.
And I think I said it to Sean because I thought that Sean just is. I think it would wake up something in Sean's head that he didn't. I don't even know that Sean has even gotten like. I think for my version of what Sean, you probably have never even attempted meditation, if I would guess. And it's something that you're like, I want to, but I wouldn't. And then I thought it might sell it on you.
I want to so bad, and every time I've tried, I've just talked shit about it in my head. And
That's
then
meditating.
listening to Sam Harris break that down and be like, he basically was telling me that I'm not special. And we all do this when we're meditating.
Yes.
And that was like I needed to hear that, because every time I've ever talked to somebody about meditation, they're always just like, you just gotta like quiet the voice in your head. And I'm like, no, I like it better when the guy's telling
does
me
that in
I'm
his
not
meditations,
special.
too.
I'm shit. We all do this.
And that your voice that's meditating, is like being like, this is dumb. What am I doing? And then you go, oh, wait, I'm meditating. And then you go back to the breath for literally 2 seconds. And then you go, oh, this is dumb again. And then it's just like that. I always remember from my TM class, and I won't share anything else because it's super secret, but the part that really makes your brain go to like this deeper level is the moment you go, oh, I'm meditating. Let me go back to the breath. And that can literally last 2 seconds. But they used to draw an example of like a diver. You know, like when you would squeeze those 2 liters. Remember we made those in like 4th grade? You squeeze a 2-liter bottle of soda and there's like a little diver that goes down. Do you remember that?
I can imagine
When you squeeze it, the pressure would make it go down.
I never made one, but I know
I never made one, but
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You painted a great picture.
So when you squeeze it, the diver goes down like automatically, and that's what they gave an example of, is like that's your mind going down. Like when you go, oh, I'm meditating, back to the breath, it goes down, and then you get into the subconscious, and it just gets the grime out of your brain. And I'm like back on the track. I meditated today, and I would say out of the 20 minutes I sat there in silence trying to say my mantra, because I'm doing TM right now instead of breath meditation, but it's the same thing. Like you're just focusing on something that's repetitive. I probably was focused on the mantra for like 30 seconds of the 20 minutes. But that is still meditating. That is what meditating is. Don't get it in your head that meditating is like sitting there with no thoughts. It is constant thoughts. And I was able to just like think about some stuff for the day and like kind of go over and like when do you ever sit alone with your thoughts and aren't looking at us? Like, when do you just sit alone with your thoughts and nothing else? Literally at the dentist?
The reason why I don't meditate is because I do my DNRS rounds, which is like you are sitting in a dark room and you do wind up thinking about things, and that's like you're supposed to go to a different, like, more positive place. But so that's why I haven't really engaged in it. But I mean, it's something that I could try. One thing I really liked about what you sent me was this concept of the voice in your head that's with you and that talks to you all day.
Yeah, that's following you around like an incessant toddler.
It's like this maniac.
Maniac.
Like a maniac is following you into every room of your house and telling you how shitty you are 24/7. What would you do if that was happening?
That was such a great way of describing your inner monologue of like the shit talking that goes on. Like you would just be like, shut the fuck, like you want to get away from it, but like we don't detach that voice from ourselves. That's essentially what meditating is like finding a way to take the thoughts and not make them who you are.
Yeah.
Like they're just these things that are thrust on you, like the rain falling. Like the rain isn't you because it hits your head. The rain is just something coming from another place.
Whoa.
And if you are able to look at your thoughts like rain droplets and just be like, like kind of block them, or just see them and go, that's not me. I'm not the rain. It's just a thing that's on me. Then you are able to navigate all of the bullshit and focus on things that matter more.
That's the problem, because when it rains on my head, I do think I'm the rain.
Yeah.
Okay,
what am I doing up there?
We gotta go to break. We'll be back after this. Did you guys watch anything cool or do anything fun this weekend?
We went to we went to see The Wizard of Oz in theaters. Which
Oh
was
yeah,
so-
I saw you post about this.
It was so cool. It was so great. It was packed. It was at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood.
Oh, that is
and-
wait, it's huge, right? The Egyptian Theater is
It's-
that the huge one?
Yeah, it's gigantic. It's like very old, and it was like in celebration because it was David Lynch's favorite movie, and we took Nolan to see it, and it was like it was amazing, and it honestly unlocked so much in my head in terms of storytelling. It
Really?
is the Wizard of Oz is a perfect movie. There's no fat, there's no tension. It is just a sprint the entire time. Every scene is iconic. To the point where, like, you know exactly what's going to happen, but they're like, the big buildup to, like, the battle between Dorothy and the Wicked Witch is 25 seconds long. There's no, like, marveling it up of, like, 8 minutes of, like, picking sides. It just happens, and you're okay with it, and it moves on to the next thing. It's just always sprinting, and it's just, there's no fat. It's incredible.
I think I really have an aversion to it for some reason because I think I saw it at a young age and I was scared of those monkeys.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
just
they're-
was scared of any kind of scariness in a movie or any kind of like darkness in a movie. Pinocchio, I was screaming, crying when the whale showed up. I don't even know. I will not revisit Pinocchio too for that Pinocchio for the same reason. But I guess I got to watch The Wizard of Oz again. It's if it's like a lesson in movie making and storytelling, I'm trying to, you're not wasting your time watching things if you are someone that wants to create things. Consuming the things you want to create is actually work. And I remember when I was watching some video about writing a song when I was like, God, I just want to write one song. This guy was like, you don't need to feel like a novice. If you've listened to music your whole life, you've been like preparing for this moment. You don't need to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. So like when I'm watching things, man, it's so inspiring to consume TV shows that are good. That's why I'm like trying to watch good stuff and not just like crap because, man, I love Gordon Ramsay. I love Hell's Kitchen. Or Kitchen Nightmares. I love watching a business struggling. A guy comes in, yells at some people. There's a brother and a son, and the family's estranged, and then they hug and cry over a grill. It's like I fucking love it. But I realized that we went back and I was like, Chris, let's go back and watch last season. I don't think we finished it. And I pick a one that we haven't seen. And we're watching it, and Chris is like, "We saw this," and I'm like, "We did," and I'm like, "It's all completely new to me." And I go, "Oh my god, it's trash. It goes in one ear and out the other." I've seen this already, kind of recently, and I can't keep watching these things that aren't giving me sustenance. It's like eating a blow pop for lunch.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to fill me up. It's delicious, and I get to chew on it a little bit, and I get this little stick that I get to gnaw on. But essentially, it's not giving me anything good. So I have to force myself to watch things that are maybe a little bit more tedious, not as exciting. But I'm now, Chris and I are like, because we want to write a movie and make a movie, we're like doing every night we watch a movie, and that's like our new thing, which sounds like it's honestly work. I have to be honest because this is the life this is the world
Even
we're
the
living in.
government even agrees with you because you could write off all those movie purchases that if you're renting it.
Yeah, you're right.
I always think about this because, like, when I was in my early 30s, I was like, what if I just like go back to school and go to like film school? And then I listened to this interview or read this interview with Paul Thomas Anderson, who's like one of my favorite directors. And he said he went to film school for 2 weeks and he realized that they were focusing so much on stuff that he did not care about, that he was like, I've seen most of this and I could just watch every movie and just learn what to do from them. And that's what he did. And he's become like the greatest director of his entire generation.
And with YouTube now, you really don't need to go to school for almost any reason.
No,
I mean, you
and
can
also
learn anything you want from the experts.
Yeah, the master class, Martin Scorsese teaches a master class and it tells you everything you need to know about directing. And then Ron Howard teaches one and it teaches you everything you need to know about
those
staging.
master classes. Are they fun?
They're fun. They're fun. It's great. Get a subscription. It's great.
Yeah.
Not an ad.
Okay. I want to do those. But this week, but I'm just going back and watching things that I've already seen. I watched Friends with Money, which is on Netflix, I think. It's Jennifer Aniston and Frances McDormand and Joan Cusack and they're all friends and they're all rich, and then Jennifer Aniston's the poor one. And it's just a good movie with good dialogue, good relationships. I think I love seeing Jennifer Aniston as like a poor person. I love the good girl. I think that's fun. I think that's what I want to do for a movie. I want to play like someone not poor, but like someone who's just like works at a cash register. Like I think, like imagining, because for a while I was like, I gotta play me, so it's got to be someone that's like doing moving and shaking and like doing a job that is like requires a lot of energy and skill and talent and all this. And it's like, but I could have just not done those things and I'd still be the same person. What if I was the person that didn't discover stand-up comedy? I wouldn't become an actress. I wasn't good enough. I wouldn't have found some other path. I would have just gone the corporate route. Like, what happens if this person who I am ends up in those places? And I think that's kind of what I see Jennifer Aniston do. It's like she is herself, but it's like as if she was living a different life. And that to me is really interesting.
It's so much more interesting. I mean, I feel like everything about Hollywood, like it obviously when you're sitting down to write, you're like, what do I know about? You always kind of tend to go to that. But like when you watch like those romantic comedies, very specifically from like the 90s and early 2000s, everyone's job is like it's like, I'm an editor of a magazine. Like, I'm a high-powered PR person. Like, I'm a corporate lawyer. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's just like they went through a list of jobs and they're like, oh, I could have done that. Like, that's what I went to school for.
And generally, you don't get into the minutia of the job anyways. Like, you don't have to know, like, how to be a corporate lawyer in order to write it into a script because they're not going to have a bunch of corporate law scenes, probably.
Because of what women want when Helen Hunt, who I thought I kind of looked like and was like, maybe that's the woman I'm going to turn into. I wanted to be at an ad agency and I wanted to wear nude power suits with like a pencil skirt and give presentations on boards and be carrying around a briefcase and have a walk-up apartment. Like you just like, but you're right. So what is the deal now, Sean? So you don't need to pick a job that you can just pick like anything.
You can pick anything. I feel like there's a whole new way of doing things, especially because everything's filmed in Bulgaria, that you could just kind of like. But I do think like like the director Sean Baker with like he's exclusively focuses on like sex work and stuff like that has really opened up. Every job is just now you could do anything.
Okay.
You can also
no longer have to be a bakery owner. Like
right.
A great way to do it is, this is something you're already really good at, is if there's a job that you're just like interested in portraying in a script, just go on Reddit and find those people on Reddit and just dig into the world for like a week. And then you'll have enough information to be able to write that character.
That's a really good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. That's I'll maybe do that. I also watched, final thought. I can't recommend it enough. Sidewalks of New York. It's amazing. That is, I think it's on Paramount Plus for a couple more days. You should really watch it. What did we watch? Last night was the football game.
Yeah, we'd be remiss to not mention that the AFC and NFC championships happened, and we are now facing in 2 weeks the probably two most hated teams in all of NFL facing off against each other in the Super Bowl.
How'd you guys feel about those wins yesterday, and what was your experience watching those games?
I was rooting so hard for the Bills. Like
I've never rooted for anything more.
I like when they lost. I genuinely felt it as if I was like a lifelong Bills fan.
Yeah.
Which is not hard to imagine. It's like being a Mets fan.
Yeah,
it's that was a good game though. I mean, it felt like things could have gone in a different direction till the last couple minutes, right?
Yeah, it was a good game, and then the refs, I feel like it just felt like the refs wanted the Chiefs to win, even though I know that there's not some conspiracy theory.
Wouldn't they?
There were like the NFL wants the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl.
Why wouldn't the NFL want the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
What if there's nothing conspiratorial about this? You look at it's a business.
Yeah.
And one of the businesses is set to set a record. and make history. And also Taylor Swift might be there.
Yeah. So that
Why
boosts your
makes
rating.
perfect sense.
you want? They are actually a great team, obviously that too. But like,
Yes.
it's you can feel the pull of the universe that is the NFL wanting the Chiefs to go all the way.
Yeah.
And why
I mean-
wouldn't you? It's like they're on every fucking commercial. You don't see any Eagles players on commercial. You don't see any, but you don't see
Saquon was in one.
Okay, fine. Maybe Saquon possibly, but you don't see Bills. I don't see Josh Allen on a single commercial.
Not unless you're in a local Buffalo area.
That's what I'm saying. National commercials. I don't see
No.
any. What Challengers? Is that the Commanders? I don't see them. Do you?
No.
I'm really asking.
No,
I think you will. Jaden Daniels seems like
you'll
he's
start
gonna
seeing
break.
Jaden Daniels.
But why
But-
wouldn't you want the biggest stars in the country, in the world, who are on every other commercial to then go the next step and
Of
play
course
the
you would
Super
want.
Bowl?
And there were
Yes,
a couple of
everyone wants it.
plays, like a couple of key plays that the refs get to decide like where the ball is placed at the end of
Mm-hmm.
a play. And there was like, I would say 2 or 3 plays where it felt like every single time the refs just placed the Bills ball just short of the first down line when it was like, I think that was a first down. And it's like, no, it was just short. And 2 of those times it resulted in a turnover.
I'm sorry, but aren't these things exact? Aren't these things
You would think so.
objective?
There were a couple
You would
times
think.
even the announcers were
Phantom
like,
flag?
oh yeah, the phantom flag that was picked up. The
Oh,
interception.
it was a flag and then it was gone.
The Bills
Yeah, they were even
interception.
talking about it, and then they were like, "Oh, actually, I don't think it was thrown."
Oh,
Like,
the announcers were like, oh, let's
Yeah.
not. It was like when my parents don't talk about our dog that we gave away. It's like let's just not mention this thing anymore. It's like we all knew that we had a flag, right? We all saw it, and then there was no mention. Yeah, it was really.
There was the interception at the end that they didn't
Mm-hmm.
review that the ball clearly, to me, hit the ground. And so it would have been like a non-catch. But they called it a catch. So it
Well,
was,
I'm sorry. Why don't they go back and watch that?
they kind of did. And then they said, oh, it's confirmed. And
No, but there was one where they did review the footage, and I guess I was trying to understand it. So the refs called the play, and then there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the call. But had the one ref who had been on the other side of the line seen it, he would have said it was for the like it was like because one ref called it, they couldn't overturn it. But if the other ref would have just called it, they would have not been able to overturn that.
Yeah.
It would have gone the other way.
So that exact thing happened. And that happens in games all the time. But it just felt like, man, it was
But
happening.
why isn't there a camera that can see centered right over the line and see? Why aren't there cameras in every
single yard line?
square inch of that place?
I mean, I guess one day there will be, but for now, it's
How
just
could there not be now? What
Yeah.
about that little one that's always flying through the air with like little wires?
What was that
Why
one
isn't that
doing?
just like always tracing the ball? Why isn't it connected to
Because
a
that
feeler
one was
on
trying
the
to
ball?
get the shots of Taylor Swift in the box.
But literally, why don't they have a motion thing on a camera? One of the cameras that goes on the field and just goes all around on those
Yeah.
little wires. Why isn't that motion censored to the ball? And so it's always hovering above the ball.
I don't think that's as easy
But
as
also,
you're saying
would it not
is.
help? Because sometimes I watch the replays literally 6 times and I do not know where the ball is and I cannot tell where it is. There's too many
Yeah.
people on top of it and you just don't know. How do you know?
During the Super Bowl, they do have almost that many cameras. So many cameras, in fact, that you can do a full 360 of any play without it seeming like there was a break. You'll see that in the Super Bowl, but they can only afford that for like the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm happy for the guy that was crying on the bench. I like that
Chris
guy.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like seeing tears. You know, I'm happy to see them go a third time and possibly get
Yeah,
3 in a
that's
row.
exciting.
It's fun. I'm sad for my friend Sean. Thank you to the bestie who wrote me to check in on my friend Sean, whose happiness and livelihood depend on the Bills progressing. He's all right.
Not Sean O'Connor.
May
different
he rest
Sean.
in peace. Yeah, my other friend
different
Sean.
Sean.
Well, little
O.
did I know you were also as dependent on this.
Yeah.
Bills win. But yeah, I think I'm going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be fun. Obviously I'm fucking excited that I get to go to a thing and Taylor's going to be in the stadium and it's going to be really fun. Like the energy is just exciting. And I'm happy about it. And they all looked happy, yeah. I'm happy for, Randy Mahomes, who, we're friends on Instagram. So I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes' mom. I think she's a sweetheart. I like her a lot.
Mhm.
Shout out.
I'm
Randy.
happy for Saquon. I think I mean,
Saquon.
There's no like the fan base of the Eagles is one of the most notoriously hated fan bases in all of sports. And the Chiefs are hated because they just win all the time. So like it's like being the Patriots in the early 2000s.
Not fair. It's like just because someone wins all the time, why do we got to take away things from people who are winning? Like
because we want someone else to have a shot at it.
But when they weren't winning, we loved them. It's like nothing changed.
When they
just
first came
winning.
back and they were like facing off against Tom Brady and dethroning that dynasty, we were all rooting for the Chiefs.
We loved it, but nothing's changed since then. They're the same people.
What's interesting about the Super Bowl coming up is that Andy Reid is the coach of the Chiefs now. He was the long-term coach of the Eagles too. He brought the Eagles to the Super Bowl multiple times.
Wow. And we've got the Kelsey brothers.
Brothers connection. I'm sure Jason Kelsey's pissed off.
I just think it's so
he retired
crazy.
Early.
Oh.
It's so crazy that Tom Brady did something that like no one else has ever done in the entire run of football. And then Pat Mahomes is like close, like right after he retired is about to
do something that Tom never did.
There's like a real chance that like Pat Mahomes is going to dethrone him as like the greatest of all time.
Right after he gets crowned the greatest of all time.
Yeah, like...
And also, while that happens, guess who is going to have to announce it? Because it's going to be on Fox. The Super Bowl's on Fox.
Whoa!
So Tom Brady's going to be the announcer saying, wow, I guess I'm not the best anymore.
Is this really like, is this what people like you guys as football fans are like, this is seriously, if he wins this one, he's going to dethrone Brady?
I mean, he'd have to win 7 rings. That would be the...
And how many does he have now? 4? It'll be 4?
3.
Well, he has 3 right now, but then it'll be 4.
3 now.
Okay.
It'll be 4, yeah.
4. And he's still, like, so young, like, all things considered.
Yeah, he has plenty of time.
It's the equivalent of, like, if Michael Jordan retired and then the next year LeBron showed up. Like,
yeah.
There's always going to be someone... that's next.
But the thing is, people say that people say that Patrick Mahomes is young, but if you recall Tom Brady's career, he had success early with his first year being the starter, and then the next couple of years, they won the Super Bowl like 3 times, and then there was a long, like almost 10-year gap where he didn't win another ring, and then he finally came back and won a couple, and then again with the Bucks.
That's what you got to do. That's the business. You got to be on top, and then you got to go away, and then you got to reinvent yourself and come back, and then you got to be a legend, and then like it's this just shows me that like I was like, oh, we all just are not excited about the Chiefs because we're like tired of seeing them win. It's like that's what makes me nervous about winning so much recently in my life is like I'm gonna have to go away, and then people are gonna root against me. It's inevitable. Mm-hmm. There's no way to avoid it. It is the human condition that we don't like to see things on top for too long.
For too long, yeah. That's why you gotta be laying the cut. You gotta go in the dip.
I'm staying in St.
But you're
Louis.
still on top for a while. I mean, like with the Golden Globes, for example.
But
as we've seen with Tina and Amy, you have several years, I think, of
even my friend Kirsten this week was like, "Oh, Nikki, like I went to go visit Kirsten for her birthday. I just flew to Kansas City for one day, or like for 5 hours to visit, to surprise her for her birthday." And we were talking to her mom about her mom was there at lunch, and about her mom listens to the podcast, and she's like, "People always ask me, was Nikki funny growing up?" And I just tell them, no, she was so serious. She did an impression of me, and my arms are just crossed, and I'm just like looking pissed off. She was like, "This was Nikki all like as a child, just looking suspicious around, bored, suspicious, and like glaring." And I was collecting data, is what I was doing. But that is true. And then she said that what was my point going to be about staying on top? Nope.
Someone always replaces you. You gotta lay in the cut.
Kirsten said, "No, god damn it." That
condition of being on top.
And your mom was saying you're serious when you're young.
Yeah, I forget it now. I forgot what my whole fucking point was gonna be, but but yeah, all I got was that she stood up to do an impression of me, and I was like, no, I don't want to see this. And then she told me I wasn't funny, and I was just like, I don't want to hear any of this. But then I was just like, and then Kirsten knows that I get like really embarrassed when people do an impression of me, and she also knows that like I don't want to hear that I wasn't funny growing. It doesn't matter what I am now. Like you don't want to hear like none of us saw this coming. No offense, Mama Flo, but it's no one wants to hear that. But But I'm like used to it now because I'm realizing like I was studying people. I wasn't like acting. I was the clown growing up. I was more like the observer.
The clown never wins in the end. The class clown. Whoever gets voted class clown in your high school is not going to be a comedian.
Really?
Yes.
I came in second place in high school, and I was so pissed at the time. And now he's just like, he works at Six Flags Great Adventure.
Exactly.
I won. I'm the class clown.
That's right. I'm the same way. I didn't win class clown either. There was someone else who was class clown and said, I got most change since middle school. And someone else won class clown because he would fart in his hand and put in people's faces. And I'm like, well, that's
I got class clown in 8th grade, but then in high school I got most changed.
Whoa. Wow.
Whoa.
We're very similar
Most
folks.
change? I don't even remember that superlative.
Most change since middle school.
It usually went to somebody who like lost a drastic amount of weight.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I definitely that happened to me too. I had a huge growth spurt.
Funny.
I was in middle school. To quote John Mulaney's joke, I looked like a little Asian boy, and I would hold a trumpet, and I had a mushroom cut and little round glasses. And then when I was in high school, I legitimately looked like I had a goatee and sideburns, and I looked like I was in Limp Bizkit or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got to see these pictures. I don't think I've ever seen you as a young boy.
Yeah, I was a young little boy.
Did you dress differently?
There's just this picture of me at my dad's house where it was during a concert, like the winter concert. So I'm standing there with a white button-down shirt. I'm pretty tubby. I've got a mushroom cut and round glasses, and I'm holding a trumpet case. And I do look like I just came from a different country. I'm trying to figure out how America works.
Could you play a trumpet now if I gave you one? Would you be able to make a sound?
Trumpet is tough because you have to have like the aperture needs to be your lips need to be strong in order to be able to like even blow into it.
Oh yeah. It's like having calluses.
Yeah, exactly.
Guitar.
But I could probably blow into it and play like a scale.
Oh wow! All right, I'm impressed. Did you play an instrument, Sean? And then we'll go.
I play bass, but I have
really.
I played bass guitar in like the worst bands New Jersey's ever seen.
Wait, how many years?
Junior and senior year. So
you could like do it again. You know some bass licks.
I know some bass licks. I could get back into it, I think.
What kind of music was it?
Emo music. We were in a band called One Morning After. You'll never guess how morning was spelled.
Oh my god.
All right, that's our show. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for listening to this football podcast. Sorry, we just had to. It'll be over soon. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Sean. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll see you then. Don't be good. Bye.
Bye.